You know my name, Ashanti. But let me tell you something you probably don't know. At just 21, I broke records that hadn't been touched in decades. My debut album sold over 500,000 copies in its first week, making me the first new female artist to accomplish that ever. But did you know I once wrote songs under a fake name just to test if people liked my music without knowing it was mine? Or that I almost gave up on music entirely when I was a teenager because I kept getting rejected over and over again? But I didn't quit. I rose. And today, I want to take you on a journey, my journey. From a little girl in Glen Cove, New York, with a dream, to Grammy Awards, hit records, controversies, comebacks, and everything in between. But before I dive into my story, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button if you love inspiring real-life stories. Because trust me, mine is just getting started. What's everyone talking about? Lately, people have had a lot to say about me. Not just for my music, but for my personal life too. Yes, I'm back in the spotlight and people are talking. Especially about my rekindled relationship with Nelly. After a decade apart, we surprised everyone and got back together. And then, boom, the internet blew up when we announced we were expecting a baby. Some praised us. Others said, why now? Is this real? Is it just PR? But you know what? I've learned that people will always have something to say. I've lived my whole life in the public eye. From being labeled princess of hip-hop and R&B, to being scrutinized for every dress I wear or post I make. I've faced it all. Yet, I stand tall. Not for the attention, but for the love of my craft. And for myself, present status, what I'm doing now. So, where am I today? Well, I'm thriving. In 2023, I released new music, collaborated with amazing artists, and celebrated the 20th anniversary of my debut album with a re-recorded version, just like Taylor Swift did. I wanted to own my masters and give my fans the real, raw Ashanti. I'm also venturing into film and TV production, telling stories that matter to me. And yes, I'm embracing motherhood, something I've always dreamed of but waited for the right time. I'm not just a singer anymore. I'm a boss, an entrepreneur, and above all, a woman who knows her worth. A funny memory. Let me take you back for a second, to a time before the fame, the red carpets, and the flashing cameras. I was about 7 years old, and I had just seen Janet Jackson perform on TV. I was mesmerized, so I told my mom, I'm going to be like her. That night, I snuck into the living room, tied a towel around my head like it was long hair, and started dancing hard. I slipped on the floor, knocked over a lamp, and boom, broke it. My mom ran in, saw the mess, and I froze. But instead of yelling, she said, well, you've got the energy. Now let's get you the training. That's when she enrolled me in dance and vocal classes. That broken lamp? It became the first casualty in the making of Ashanti, overcoming hard times. But it wasn't always fun and games. When I was in high school, I had so many doors slammed in my face. I'd sing at showcases, send demos to record labels, and get no response. People told me I wasn't the right look, or that my voice was too soft. I started to believe them. There was a time I cried in my room, thinking maybe I wasn't meant to be a star. But my mother, Tina, was my rock. She told me, you're not just good, Ashanti, you're great. And one day, the world will hear you. She never stopped believing in me, even when I lost faith in myself. So I kept going. And then one day, Irv Gotti from Murder Incorporated heard me sing and everything changed. How I made it big. Getting signed to Murder Incorporated was like stepping into the fire. I was surrounded by hip-hop giants, Ja Rule, Fat Joe, and even Jay-Z at times. I was this young R&B girl trying to find my voice, but I didn't just sing hooks. I wrote them. I wrote my own verses, melodies, and even parts for other artists. People started to notice. In 2002, I dropped my first single, Foolish, and boom, it went straight to #1. My debut album sold over 503,000 copies in its first week. I earned 8 Billboard Awards, a Grammy, and a place in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the top 2 songs on the Billboard Hot 100 simultaneously, Foolish and What's Love with Fat Joe. Suddenly, I wasn't just that girl with a pretty voice. I was a force. But the fame came with pressure, rumors, industry politics, and even federal investigations into my label. People doubted me. They said I was done. But I refused to disappear. I kept evolving, acting in films, releasing independent albums, and most of all, staying true to my voice. A powerful ending and subscribe reminder. So here I am, a singer, a songwriter, an actress, a producer, a woman, a soon-to-be mom. I've made mistakes. I've had triumphs. I've been broken and I've rebuilt. But through it all, I've stayed me. If my story tells you anything, let it be this. Never let the world define you. You define you. Thank you for listening to my journey. And And if you want more powerful real-life stories like mine, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. Because next time I just might share the story behind the most painful song I ever wrote, and why it still makes me cry. Until then, stay true, stay strong, and never stop believing in your own voice. This is Ashanti, and this is just the beginning.